Washington is a really good football team. Okay, there I said it. Is that what y'all want me to come out and say? I'll say it again. Washington is a really good football team, and they impressed me on Saturday. There it is. There you have it.
Please take one peek. Happy Halloween. I'm watching you.
Man, oh man, as a college football fan, I can't tell you enough how pleased and satisfied I was Saturday night. And I'm not talking about the Alabama-LSU game because my team won. I'm talking about all the games in general. It was one of the best weekends of college football up until this point. From 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. the following morning, it was nothing but good games. It was good football all the way around, and when the final games wrapped up, UCLA, Arizona, and by the way, I can't wait to talk about Arizona, and Oregon State and Colorado at about 1:30 a.m. Central Time. That's my time zone. I took a shower, and when I got out of the shower, I was watching some film, and I just found myself smiling and laughing. Why was I smiling and laughing? Because when I was watching the highlights, when I was watching some tape and film on some of the games I didn't get to see all the way through, it just made me realize how great of a day it was. I'll put it to you like this. Have you ever had a day where everything just goes your way and you can't help but smile? That's how it was for me yesterday. I couldn't have enjoyed it any more, and I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. That's what my dream day looks like. Watching college football from 11 a.m. to 1 a.m., eating some good food. You got to throw that in there. You got to have some good food, maybe some chicken wings, whatever you like, and hanging out with you guys. That's my dream day. And to me, that's the most entertaining part about all of this, seeing what you guys say during the games on Twitter, Instagram, whenever y'all send me stuff. And of course, seeing whatever you guys say in the live reaction videos, that's also funny as well. I did want to open up the video with stating that it was an awesome, and I mean an awesome week 10. I hope you guys enjoyed your week 10 as well. You know what we're about to do. We're about to recap the games. It's simple. Wait a minute. Hold on. What is this comment that I stumbled across? This was on one of the previous videos where I asked recommendations for Halloween movies. Matt, you should watch Sinister. It's good and scary for bald people. Alright, buddy. What? Number one, what do you mean it's scary for bald people? And number two, why is your username Matt B. Bald 69? Wait a minute. Is that me in the profile pic? Nah, bro. This whole comment is cursed. I'm going to act like I didn't see this, and we're going to keep it pushing. Let's get back on with the football talk. I say we get straight into it. Starting out hot at 11 a.m., we had some good ones. We had the little bro, Ohio State, struggling. What about this? Struggling with Rutgers. Sorry and sucky Rutgers. They got 2- and 3-star recruits. It's a shame. I'll put it to you like this. However, y'all know my golden rule. Number one, never apologize for winning in your own conference. That's number one. And number two, you never apologize for winning on the road. Never. And I'm sure some of you may have or may not have saw this, but I did a reaction video Saturday to this game in which I stated Ohio State is not the number one team in the country. But some people are highly confused by all of that. And they're like, well, Matt, you're being a hypocrite. They won by 19 on the road. No. Listen, I'm going to say this one more time and one more time only. I'm not discrediting Ohio State's win versus Rutgers. It was way closer than what the score says, but I'm not discrediting that at all. What I'm saying is how they played on Saturday just proved to me what I originally thought. They're not the number one team in the country. I don't care what the playoff committee says. They just didn't look that good. Moving along here to another good. This was a really good game at 11 a.m. We got K-State versus Texas. Whew, Texas got fairly lucky, or really quite lucky in this game. Pretty much if Kansas State could have made that extra point to make it 28-27, they would have won this game. Because yeah, Texas got a field goal after that, but yet again, Kansas State got a field goal, essentially meaning they would have won by 1 point. But going back to my mantra, a win is a win. If you're a Texas fan, survive and advance. It's like March Madness at this point. Every game's a playoff game. I have an extremely hard time critiquing Texas considering you're winning with your backup quarterback. I just simply can't criticize a team for beating a top 25 team with their backup quarterback. I can't do it and I won't do it. You won. Let's leave it at that. It was ugly. It was really bad in the second half, but you won. And you also got to throw this in there. Texas had a bunch of turnovers that could have cost them the game. The more I look at it and the more I break it down, the fact you won was actually surprising. And I really don't want to get started on this because I could rant about this for the next 10 minutes. Why did Kansas State go for that 4th and 4 at the end of the game? You have all the momentum in the world. Texas, they only gained 1 yard on their first offensive possession in overtime. It made no sense. I am going to stop it right there because I am going to go on a complete rant and tangent. That was an idiotic play call. I'm done. Okay, I'm done. I got to move on. Trust me when I say it, I can just feel my blood boiling thinking about that play call. And it's not even the play call, whatever, that didn't work. It's the decision to go for it. Texas couldn't move the ball. It didn't make any sense, man. It didn't make any sense. We're still with our 11 a.m. games, guys. We had Ole Miss and the Lane Train versus Jimbo Fisher and A&M. It's always an instant classic when they match up. As we all know, Lane Kiffin has beef with Jimbo Fisher. If you don't know why he has beef, it's because Fisher has beef with Saban. And Lane Kiffin is like Nick Saban's son. So if you disrespect Saban, Lane Kiffin doesn't take lightly to that. No. Lane Kiffin loves Alabama and he loves Nick Saban. He has made it evidently clear from the jump. And Kiffin yet again gets the best of old Jimbo Fisher. And it's really funny to me because Ole Miss, they should be the team that's 5-4. They should be the team losing these games, but they're not. Lane Kiffin even stated this before the game. Ole Miss has the 2- and 3-star recruits, and A&M has the 4- and 5-star recruits. A&M should be ranked 10th in the country, not Ole Miss. I'll put it to you like this, and pretty much Lane Kiffin's saying the same thing. Ole Miss beating and playing better than A&M this year is just coaching. That's all there is to it. Lane Kiffin is a much better coach than Jimbo Fisher. He is. He doesn't have better talent than Jimbo Fisher, but he gets the most out of his talent, and there's a difference. For me, at least, the game went exactly how I thought it was going to go. High scoring, and it was going to come down to the wire. And with that being said, when a game goes exactly how I thought it was going to go, I don't have too much to say about it. Big win for Ole Miss, and this is really interesting. I think a lot of people don't even know this. Their crossover game this year is against Georgia this weekend upcoming. And I brought this up, I think it was like 4 weeks ago. What if Ole Miss runs the table and goes 11-1? What happens? Do they get in? Shoot, man, that's a different conversation for a different day. But if you beat Georgia, we're talking about a team that hasn't lost in 26 games. In my humble opinion, you got to get in, right? And their only loss would be to Alabama, so you also have a quality loss. It's interesting, but like I said, different conversation for a different day. Another 11 a.m. game. We got Notre Dame versus Clemson. I'm going to be upfront and honest with all of you. I had a hard time getting excited for this game because both of these teams are playing for nothing. Notre Dame couldn't make the playoff. Clemson, they're 4-4. What does it matter if they're 4-5 or 5-4? Clemson did win this game. They played okay, but I thought it was more so if Sam Hartman played awful. 13 for 30, 2 interceptions, QBR at 39.6. It was bad. It's not like Cade Klubnik went out here and played phenomenal. He wasn't too much better. He only completed 50% of his passes and had 109 passing yards. It was pretty much the Phil Moffitt show. He had something like, I don't even got to look at it, but I know he had over 34, 35 carries. Congratulations to Clemson, I guess. And I do got to speak on this because it's so funny. This was one of my upsets this week. I picked Arizona State to beat Utah. You can't make this up. And they lost by 52. Of course. So one time I picked Utah to actually lose a game. They go out here and have the best offensive performance of their life. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. The big time 2:30 CBS game that we got Georgia and Mizzou. I thought there for a second, Mizzou, they was going to have a game-winning touchdown drive. They're down 27-21. They're at the 50, and that's when their quarterback, Brady Cook, they're that pick, I can't even believe it, to the defensive tackle. That was a weird sequence of events because he throws the interception, he returns it to the 5, but it got called back to the 30 for, I think it was a blindside block. It was a really good game, but gosh, man, my biggest takeaway from this game, and it feels like I say this every week when I talk about Georgia, but they're so good. I can't get over how good they look. Carson Beck, similar to Jalen Milroe, a little foreshadowing here. We'll talk about him in just a second. He gets better and better every single week. Carson Beck is looking like next year, not this year, but next year, an easily top 10 NFL draft pick. Georgia's clicking on all cylinders. Offense looks great. Defense looks great. I know the score was 30-21, but I mean, you're playing the 12th team in the country, and any game in your conference against a really good team like Mizzou, it's going to be pretty close. You also had a snooze fest going on with the Seminoles in Pittsburgh. I'm not going to talk about this too much because Florida State did pull away at the end. They wound up winning by 17 points, but I thought the game was much closer than the score. I didn't want to bring that up, but man, oh man, I would say this was arguably the best game of the day. We had Bedlam. I think it's the last Bedlam, if I'm not mistaken. We had Oklahoma, Dylan Gabriel, and BV versus Oklahoma State. Remember, Oklahoma lost last week, and yeah, you see the score. They lost again this week. Somebody commented this, and I don't know who it was. I can't find the comment. I tried to find it, but I lost it. They said, yo, Matt, when are you going to start talking about Ollie Gordon II for Heisman? And we'll talk about him in a different video. Stay tuned. If you don't know who this young man is, he's the running back for Oklahoma State, and he is arguably the best running back in the country. He has carried this Oklahoma State team, and he also did that against Oklahoma. Here's my biggest takeaway from the game, and by the way, it was an awesome game to watch. I couldn't decipher if Oklahoma State was really good or if Oklahoma is just not very good anymore. Or maybe they weren't very good in the first place. Maybe they were lucky to beat Texas. Who knows? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just going to meet it in the middle here and come to this agreement that Oklahoma is just a decent team. They're nothing too special, and everybody in the Big 12 is on even par with each other. My point is, there's no big dog in the Big 12, whereas in the SEC, you got Georgia. They're the big dog in the East, and Alabama's the big dog in the West. Alabama and Georgia are just beating the crap out of everybody, whereas in the Big 12, all the games are close. Big win for Oklahoma State, and I just can't get over this. Every time I see that name this year, I go back to this. They lost to South Alabama 33-7. I can't believe they turned this year around. Wait a minute. Now that I think about it, does that mean that South Alabama has one of the best wins in the country this year? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. Oregon completely smashes California. I predicted that. Actually, in the preview, I remember talking about this. Somebody said, yo, Matt, can you preview the California-Oregon game? I said, no, I'm not previewing a game in which I think Oregon's going to win by 40 points, and they pretty much did that. They are a hot topic, so I'll bring them up. Michigan did beat Purdue pretty soundly, but Purdue sucks, so saw that coming. And this game did kick off before the Bama-LSU game, so I'll start with it first. Washington and USC. All right, it's time for me to get serious and be real with all of you, because I said heading into this game, if Washington beats USC, I will give them more respect. And I'm going to do just that. Some people would say that Matt B. Great is a professional Washington hater, and I see where they're coming from. Although I wouldn't go that far, I definitely understand that perspective. It's not that I'm a Washington hater. I'm just not high on them. That's all there is to it. But I will say this win against USC on the road against the best quarterback in the nation, it impressed me a lot. I can't say anything bad about them. You won by double digits on the road, like I said, against the best quarterback in the country. It was an awesome win. It was a great win. But my biggest takeaway is that they don't always have to have Michael Penix Jr. to do all the work. Their running back, Dylan Johnson, had 250-plus yards on the night. What about that? Washington is a really good football team. Okay, there I said it. Is that what y'all want me to come out and say? I'll say it again. Washington is a really good football team, and they impressed me on Saturday. There it is. There you have it. But, and I have a really big but. With that being said, I also am going to throw this disclaimer in there. USC is not very good. This is the same USC team that probably should have lost to Arizona and California if it wasn't for a couple of plays. But to me, at least, like I said, let's focus on the positives here. I thought it was a good win, and I have moved them up in my personal rankings, and I believe I'll either release them tomorrow or maybe I'll do it Tuesday with the live show. I don't know. I haven't really determined how I'm going to do that just quite yet. Very good win for Washington, and shout out to all the Washington fans. I know we got some in the comment section. Another one of our night games before we get into the Pac-12 After Dark games. We had Alabama and LSU. Go Tigers. Shout out to Ed Ogeron. I'm not going to talk about this too much because I talked about this for 15 minutes in a video last night. Although that was my live reaction, more times than not, when I go to bed and sleep on it and wake up the next morning and watch some film, my opinion does change. However, in this case and scenario, nothing has changed. Extremely proud of this Alabama team. I thought LSU was a really good team, a really scary team heading into this game. They had the best offense in the country, and we held them to 28 points. I'm proud of the defense. I'm proud of the offense, and this sums it up the best. This was the best and the most overall complete game that Alabama has played this year. Granted, I'm going to throw this back in there. I don't know what our field goal kicker was doing in this game. He missed 2 chip shots, and to give you some context, he had a streak of 28 made field goals in a row that was dating back to last year. But outside the 2 missed field goals, we was clicking on all cylinders, and it was a very solid win. If you want to see me talking that game some more for 13 minutes in a row or 14, however long the video was, go watch the video last night. I want to get to this UCLA-Arizona game, but before we do that, we got Oregon State and DJ Ugabadoogie versus Colorado. Coach Prime Time. You see this score? You might as well throw it out the window. It was more so of like Oregon State 28, Colorado 7. I don't know how it wound up being this close, but trust me when I say this was a blowout from start to finish. Or not a blowout, let me change that, my apologies. It was more so of a not really a contested and close matchup. Colorado scored 2 late touchdowns to make it somewhat respectable, but trust me, like I said, okay, this should put it into perspective. Heading into the 4th quarter, Colorado had 78 total yards of offense. Weirdly enough, this was the best Colorado's defense played all year long. They still wasn't good, but it was the best performance up until this point. And unfortunately, they couldn't put 2 and 2 together. They have their great defensive performance, but they had probably arguably their worst offensive performance of the year outside the Oregon game. It was bad, man. It's bad. Y'all know we talk about Colorado later in the week. I'll talk about them tomorrow, Tuesday, but check this out. I called it. Feels good to be right for a change. Arizona upsets UCLA by 17 points. Shout out to the Arizona fan base because they've taken notice. I've been showing them love for like the past 6 weeks. I've been telling people, watch out for this Arizona team. They're better than what a lot of people think. I say this every time I talk about it. I'm going to say it again. They have 3 losses, but all 3 of their losses are by 7 points or fewer. They're a couple plays away from being 9-0. I'm not kidding. I know that's playing the what-if ball game, but I'm telling you, Arizona's legit. And I want to give a shout out to Clyde Adams here. He said this on the video last week. Thanks for showing Arizona some love. I'm a Bama guy, but I moved to Tucson a few years back. We have season tickets to Arizona football, and we're at the game last night. The freshman quarterback has the offense firing on all cylinders, and the defense is much improved. Love the videos, Matt. Thank you for those kind words. Keep up the good work. Roll Tide and bear down. Thank you, Clyde, for that comment, but the reason I bring it up is because what about that? I have never seen anything like that. An Alabama fan and an Arizona fan. Pretty unique if you gotta ask me, and yet again, thank you, Clyde, for supporting the channel. And if you don't know who this freshman quarterback is for Arizona, I bet you'll hear some Heisman talk about him next year. His name's Noah. And Noah, against UCLA, who, by the way, has an extremely good defense for Pac-12 standards especially, was 25 for 32. That's amazing. 300 yards with 3 touchdowns and a QBR of 93.7. Doesn't get too much better than that. Heck of a game by him and heck of a win by Arizona. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is it. Week 10 is in the books, and I go back to this. It was awesome. I enjoyed the games. I enjoyed hanging out with you guys, and I hope you enjoyed yourself as well. Another week in the books, and I can't wait for next week. I feel like I say it all the time, but I mean it. I'm curious, though. Let me know your thoughts on the games down below. But